Everyone, hello. Well, there's the birthday boy. 100 years old today. So it's the centennial birthday of Malcolm X, who is a very recognizable face and figure, not only in this country, America, but around the world. And we are proud to recognize his work and his legacy on a I would say day-to-day basis, but certainly today as we celebrate May 19th, his birthday, and he would be 100 years old. For this week, I am asking for 5 to 7 minutes of your time as I break down his 100 years into four 25-year periods of my understanding of him versus who he is because I feel that everyone should know who he is. I feel that you can research that on your own. I feel that with Google, who is my darn good friend, could very much acquaint you to the depths of Malcolm X and the history of Malcolm X. One great recommendation is my favorite book here, The Autobiography of Malcolm X, which is well read. Look how old it is. Oh, I read this in college and I have read it more than once. I'll say that. That would be a good read for you. Also, I would highly recommend any biography, the Biography Channel, and certainly Public Broadcast System PBS has a documentary. I'm sure they'll be showing it this week. So you can do that research on your own. Equally, I'm very impressed with Spike Lee's, I believe it was 1992 movie of Malcolm X starring Denzel Washington. It was superbly done. I can watch it a million times. So to learn more about the man, I would recommend you doing that. For me this week, I am going to do, I said, the four uploads, 25 years each. Now, if you're new to my channel, I only upload 3 times a week. That is Monday, Thursday, and Friday. But this week, there'll be a bonus on Tuesday in honor of this wonderful, iconic man. In my just personal perspective again. So let's get started. Growing up, I believe that many Black families, during the time by which Malcolm X had either was still in his element of Malcolm X, I'd say. At the same time, there was a very reverent Martin Luther King. And the media took their position to juxtaposition the two men, when in actuality, they were wanting and hoping for the same thing for Black culture. They both wanted a progressive opportunity. They both wanted equal rights for us. They both wanted to build a community. They both wanted civil rights. They both wanted opportunities without judgment to color. They were wanting the same thing, but going about speaking it differently. And I believe as a full grown adult, and not just a kid growing up, or a teenager growing up, or a young adult growing up, I believe that that was placed into the mindset of Blacks to make a choice by which we would be splitting the two men, when in actuality, they wanted the same thing. I also think it was the mindset of the media to plant what seemed to be regulated fear in white people in their minds that Malcolm X was dangerous, that Malcolm X was boisterous, that Malcolm X caused fear. This fear and intimidation, we know now, fast forward in a woke, clear, illuminated understanding, is false to the bone. He was just I would say, a spark plug speaker, whereas Martin Luther King was more of a prayer-like speaker. Martin Luther King was more reverent, Martin Luther King was more calm. Now, see, isn't that something by which those who would want to control you to any sense of degree would tend to go to the person who's calm and work with them and hope that they help them work against the one who's not. And this is now my new great understanding. Now, when I say new great understanding, it's not like I learned it yesterday. It's just that I'm understanding now how adamant the colonizer mindset is what I call it, to keep progress from prevailing. No forward progress without going back to push it back 10 steps by which you've only made 2. And this is a regulated, regular, systemic, strategic way of this society. And it had nothing to do with Malcolm X. Malcolm X wanted community. Malcolm X wanted choice. Malcolm X was a voice for that. And Malcolm X was making progress by which that was possible. So because of him and his by any means necessary mentality, he posed as a threat to those who refuse, even to this day, to allow forward progress to not only happen, but to be cemented. And I would say today on his birthday, his 100th birthday, our mentality of him has only improved as Black people and have grown to include white people. And for that, he was successful. And for that, I hope you enjoyed this short video. Tune in tomorrow as I give my second point of view of this man. And if you've gotten this far, you should click subscribe, you should click like, and join me here tomorrow. I love having you. See you next time. Good night. Click subscribe.